Sonny and Shay, Sundays from 6
on BBC London 94.9.
Welcome back to BBC London 94.9. My name is Sonny.
My name is Shay. And we're going to go to a new track from a brand, Cielo. They're here, all of them in the studio. They're setting up. But we thought before we speak to them all, we would play their track. They're a London-based band, and we're so delighted to have all of them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 5 of them here in the studio with us alongside Deccan. We'll tell you more about all of them. But first, here's a new track on BBC London 94.9.
It's driving me insane. I can tell the game you play. I feel it just a move away, and yeah, it's breaking me inside. Do you really wanna play with me? Mess around on my mind, I'm a sanity. All the things you said to me before, girl. All the things that we've been through. You know I never meant to cause it all. I can feel it with you.
That just stopped there because that was a preview of that track. This is so hot off the pressure. You know what? I put it into the CD player and it was actually hot.
That's how hot it was.
That's how hot it was. Seriously, I'm not even joking right now.
Me.
It's that hot. Let me just put that down for that.
We're all, in terms of Sonny and I, as I'm sure many of you will know, Sonny's biggest passion is film.
Very much so.
But I'm the complete opposite, actually. We do talk a lot about film, but we're also very, very passionate, and I am very passionate about music, and we're very keen to support new talent. And this evening, we're joined by a group. They're known as Cielo, who've been championed by Deccan Apogee, a former journalist turned talent scout, who's here with us. But also,
I don't know talent.
I don't know about that. He's also the director and organizer of Allsortz, but we'll be talking about that later. And we're delighted to say they were very, very kind to bring in this preview of their track. Welcome, all of you.
Welcome, guys.
Hello. So, okay, we're going to
They're so well behaved as a group, man. Wow.
You should have seen us outside. It was very different there.
Yeah, so it's all right. You can bring that inside here. You can bring it in here. It's okay. You know, I know it's the BBC and we have to talk properly. My wife will do all that bit.
I will, yes.
We can actually have fun, okay? So here's my question to you guys, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's one guy behind me doing something else. So there's about 6, 7 guys in the studio. And how do you all manage to just get on with each other?
We don't. We actually hate each other. So it's quite awkward now because you just brought that to the fore. We had a massive... No, that's all lies. We're all quite different, so I think we fill various roles within this group.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to ask firstly, because you're the name of the band, who came up with that? Is there a particular meaning behind
there's a little
Cielo?
story behind that. Basically, me and George set up as an acoustic duo about 2 years ago.
More than that now.
I remember sitting in his little Postman Pat vehicle outside my house thinking, what should we call our band? I don't know. I was like, let's think of something sweet and sexy. And
right.
I don't know. And I was like, well, what's sky in Spanish? Because George used to live in Spain. And he was just like, Cielo. I was like, I like Cielo.
That works.
You like
and
Cielo?
ever since, we've been called Cielo by most people. Which is
Cielo.
that's not our actual name. but that's just what people call us, so which is cool. But yeah, no, it's Cielo.
So while you guys were, doing your job, which is the Postman Pat job, right, which is a brilliant job, by the way.
Well, no, to be fair, it was just a vehicle that looked like a Postman Pat.
Oh, was it?
Van.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So you were just hanging around in a van. Okay,
just hanging around in a van, just like, on the street corner, that's no good.
As you do. So then when did you get the rest of your guys on board and sell them the Sky?
So originally it was me and Arnhem as just an acoustic duo. Then we got some drums and bass involved, and that lasted for a year or so. And then eventually we added this lovely chap on guitar here called Will.
We're on the radio.
And he joined the band about 18 months ago or so now, and thus the sound was born of what we've got now.
When you had your first performance as a band, who gave you that opportunity to come up to the stage? Was it one of those places where you went, oh, listen, we're a band, let us play? And, back in the day, we always hear these stories of the Beatles and all the great, legends of the past that came and just gigged all over London. Is it like that today in the gigging world?
Well, elements of it are very similar. I mean, you've got lovely people like Deccan who sort out lots of gigs and give us opportunities, which is ideal. That's the only way we can get anywhere. A lot of the time, you've got to do a lot of knocking on a lot of different doors to get anywhere. And a lot of the time, it's catch-22 that if you've got a fan base and you can bring 100 people to a gig, then you can almost play anywhere, and all the promoters want to work with you. But to get those fans, you need to play gigs to people to get them.
It's a horrible cycle, isn't it, really, when you look at it like that?
Indeed.
So as a band now, right, so it's like, how much time do you spend on the band and I'm not going to say real lives, but the lives that you have to do before you can come and live your fantasy life at the moment as a rock band?
Yeah, it's difficult. But I'm at uni. I'm in my second year of business student. I've actually got an exam tomorrow morning. So.
Oh my God!
Thank you so much for coming in, brother.
What's your name? Say your name.
Yeah, Tom.
Tom.
Bass player, yeah.
Okay, you're the bass player.
Yeah.
Tom, the bass player. Do you, if tomorrow, your business kicks off and you got yourself a job, would this still be something that you would commit to wholeheartedly?
100%. Yeah, this is the priority. Business just a backup plan.
So clever. Sounds so Asian. That's the first thing my mother said to me. Seriously, when I said to her, I want to go into journalism, she said, well, that's fine, but you must have a real job or have a backup plan.
And then you married me instead.
Why do you say that, Arnold? Yes, I married my husband. Why do you say that,
Arnold? My parents don't support my music, really. I mean, they do. But they've always wanted me to go to university, become a typical engineer, doctor, classic.
Anything that will give you a job and
I've always wanted to do music. So growing up doing music, it was very hard. It's not being supported at all. Not having your parents being interested in what you love and in your passion. And it's kind of hard, but you just have to knock your boots and just carry on.
So here's my question to you. We had a lot of artists who come in on this show, and we have a lot of people who are been on it for 5-6 years, and they still haven't got to the first stage of even releasing a single, for example. And there's some people who've been it for about 5 minutes, and they've got this internet sensation, and they've just exploded, and then they've disappeared.
This is just the industry today, though. You never know. You just never know.
So would you then? How old are you now? If you don't mind
22.
So you're 22. And how long have you been doing this individually besides the band?
Since probably the age of 15.
Wow. So you've already invested a lot of your time in it. And the thing is that when you sell your dream to the rest of the guys here, and listen, I've got an idea for a song. And that song, by the way, sounds amazing. It sounds like a nice summery song. You feel like having a drink. You're in the sunshine. So you've got that bit right. So who's the dictator in the group? Who is Paul? Who's Paul and who's George and who's Ringo Starr?
Well...
So he's going to say, he wants to say he's Paul. Can you see his face? He feels like Lennon. I'm Lennon.
McCartney and Lennon.
Yeah.
That's basically how it looks, these guys.
Yeah, they're two man. They're two man.
And you're sat on a box. What's your name? Come close to the mic. Come over to this mic and tell me who you are.
My name's Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
But no one calls him Aaron.
His name's not Aaron.
It's actually Az. Everyone calls him Az.
I don't have a nickname, do I? Right. It's Aaron.
Anyway,
Come to the mic.
I need you to come a lot closer, honey. There you go. But you know what? When you talk about a band, as much as you can have the lead in the band, it is very much a group collective, isn't it? It's not a case of one person taking the forefront.
It's a family.
It is. You're absolutely right. It is a family. What was the name of the track? Because we previewed the track. It's come hot off the press. We haven't actually told us what the name was of the track.
It's called Running in Circles.
Running in Circles. And what's the reasoning for the name? Did you choose it? Who wrote the song?
George wrote the lyrics.
Wow.
Oh, that's me.
It's already started. They haven't made £1 right now. And they've started arguing over rights, man.
Let's get legal in here.
No, I'd say Will came up with the chord structure mainly. I came up with a little riff bit, and then Arnhem came up with most of the lyrics, and then we had a bit of a shared, you know.
Thank you.
Tom
It was a shared.
came up with an awesome bass line. What did you do, Alice?
That's the question. Look, just before we go to the travel, I want to bring Deccan in on this because Deccan, this has all come about, and the reason we've been introduced to Cielo is because of Allsortz. Just tell us briefly what Allsortz is, and we'll continue talking to the band after travel.
Well, briefly, Allsortz is Allsortz Open Mic is a platform for emerging talent to come forward and give them a place and an experience that they can kind of encourage and grow their talent. So whatever they might be, singer, songwriters, bands, musicians, spoken word artists, whoever they might be, we help them provide a platform for them that's supportive, encouraging environment. And yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm sure I'll tell you more about it in a bit.
No,
Yes,
you will.
very much so.
Whereabouts is Allsortz based though?
We're based in London, but we currently operate from Rich Mix in East London. That's our base where we have a monthly night there for the second Monday of every month. I should let you know that. Next one's on the 9th of June.
9th of June, okay.
But yeah, we're kind of operating all over London. We like to work with artists from all across London.
That's the most important thing, isn't it? Hence we're talking about it on BBC London at 4.9. We're going to continue talking to Deccan alongside the band in here, Cielo. We've got hopefully a live performance coming for them as well. Right now, though, let's go to the travel on BBC London 94.9. Here's the latest travel news from BBC London 94.9. Well, we've had several breakdowns in the northbound Blackwall Tunnel today, and there are still severe delays as a result, particularly on the A102 northbound from the A2 Sun in the Sands to the Blackwall Tunnel. It's also very slow now on the A2 westbound between the Kidbrooke Park Road and the Lewisham Road as folk are trying to avoid the delays towards the Blackwall Tunnel. The M4 eastbound between Junction 5 at Langley and Junction 4B, the M25 turn has the inside lane closed still after two separate accidents. Do watch out for queues reaching back to Junction 7 to Slough West, and still rather slow for the M23 northbound approaching Junction 9 at Gatwick Airport after a previous problem. Burpham in Surrey, the A3 northbound has fully reopened between the A322 and Clay Lane. However, it's still very slow following that serious accident which happened earlier on today. Dulwich, we've got queues on the A205 westbound between Lordship Lane and the College Road, and Wembley, it's very slow now for Blackbird Hill for the A4088 eastbound between Salmon Street and the A406. That's following the match at Wembley Stadium. Do update us on 020 722 40,000 or drop us a tweet at BBC Travel. Good service on the tube. On the trains, 15-minute delays still for First Capital Connect between Bedford and Luton, and for East Midland trains through Bedford after signal problem. Fiona McKinnon, BBC London 94.9, it's updating 15 minutes.
Welcome back to BBC London 94.9. We're in a studio full of a boy band. I don't want to call them a boy band, the traditional. When you think of boy band, you think of Take That, and you think of, you know, the guys.
Well, they're a man band, really, aren't they?
No, boy band.
50.
They were back in the day. They were a boy band. Take That. Now they Take This.
I
just renamed it when they reformed.
I'd talk more about maybe something like One Direction for people who, you know, nowadays, for the younger boy bands.
So I'm talking about these guys. I think they remind me of very much those spirit of the Beatles and that kind of, band playing and what have you. So because this is a band that just does music that sounds like Take That, but with real music, with real, you know, instruments and stuff.
Yeah, they're live performers.
Yes,
you know,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Exactly, well done. The reason that we have them here in the show is because one of my biggest passions is music, but also supporting new talent, which is very much championed by Londoners and championed also by Deccan Apogee, who runs Allsortz. Now, just before we went to the travel, and we're going to come back and talk to the band about the new track, and you've been touring, you know, for the past weekend with something like Allsortz, Deccan. Is it restricted to age? Is it restricted to particular type of communities? What type of communities do you have coming? Because, you know, it's great to have an open night, but does that obviously reach out to everybody?
Yeah, I mean, Allsortz Open Mic started back in 2011, and the reason it started was because of the work I was doing when I was at the BBC. I used to bump into quite a lot of performers and artists just randomly through the work I was doing. I also kind of used to work a little bit in the music industry, a little bit dabbling on the performance side, stage managing, tour managing, stuff like that. And what I noticed was, having met all these people, they didn't really have anywhere that was accessible for them to perform. There's lots of different layers of performance. People can go, if they've been gigging for 5-10 years or performing, they can go to special kind of open mic nights, but they're very cliquey. Right. And as you walk into these places, you feel like, oh, I'm not sure if I should be here, I'm not sure if I can perform. And I wanted to create an environment where anybody could feel that they wanted to get up on stage, and they felt that they were supported enough to be able to do that. And so Allsortz Open Mic was born because of that.
But how is it now though? Because 2014, like, is the audience varied? Are the types of people that come varied?
That's the great thing. Allsortz Open Mic is so eclectic. It's unreal. We kind of operate primarily with an age group of 18 to 25-year-olds. Those are our kind of core performers, and the audience is reflected in that as well. But we also, and we're very blessed to kind of have performers that have been gigging and session musicians that have been playing for years, for decades, like 20, 30 years, musicians, bands, old school bands that come. And it's great to have these bands like Cielo come down and perform, and these kind of older generation of bands, funk bands, folk bands that coming to perform and coming together, because you can learn so much from each other, and that's what Allsortz kind of is all about. It's all about sharing or having that shared experience.
Now, this idea of yours isn't new. It's something that I think that was around. I think Robert Elms always talks about, the golden age of London when all the bands came here. This is where they made their sound happen. So why do we move away from that? And that way of, promoting bands and giving them a platform and letting them in and, having that, beautiful vibe of just coming to London and thinking, I don't know what I'm going to listen to tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if we haven't necessarily moved away from that. Still exists, but it's
but like you said, it's really quite cliquey.
It's different to how it was back then.
Yeah.
I mean, most open mic nights you go to, you have to pay for. Allsortz Open Mic is free.
Right.
So it's free for the performers to come down and play, and it's free for the audience to come down and participate and listen to, which is kind of unheard of, really.
This is what I mean,
in London. So it's given that opportunity to make it as accessible as possible. I mean, we see so much nowadays in things like X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, all those kind of things, where it's not about the music, it's not about the effort that these people, these guys, Cielo and other bands and performers put into it. It's just about the end product.
Right.
And I think a lot of the appreciation has disappeared for what these guys put into it. Look, starting at 15, 16 years old, performing and continuing to have that drive and that passion, that's not necessarily encouraged all the time. And that's something that I wanted to kind of make sure that Allsortz does and kind of help bands like this, Cielo, other bands, other performers, spoken word artists kind of have that place where they can build themselves up, build that confidence, build that self-esteem, and then take themselves off. And whether or not they go off and to become a top 10 hit, which hopefully these guys will be, or whether or not they just take that confidence they built into their normal lives and go on to become a business entrepreneur or whatever it might be.
It's still an experience though, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
And it's so important to have that live experience. Look, you guys have been gigging over this weekend. You were saying whilst we were during travel, 4 gigs you've done in the past 2 days. How hard is it for you being, under the age of 25 and juggling, on the weekends or during the weekdays doing gigs, and then obviously, perhaps you're at university or you're working? Will, would you like to come in and answer that?
I mean, because 2 of us have 9 to 5 jobs, so me and Az kind of work during the week. Tom's obviously at uni, George is full-time musician, and it's just kind of... Sorry, I
was waiting for that.
He's singing it, but you don't actually know what he does. He just turns up to gigs.
Brilliant. He's the real rock and roller right now.
Yes.
Sorry, man. And so it's kind of getting that balance of like, as soon as it hits Friday night, we're kind of right. We're getting down to London. George lives here now, so we got a base, which was always hard because it was if we want to stay overnight, it's kind of it's a further cost for hotels, which it's kind of struggling with when we're trying to do this because it's expensive to do. And like we're saying, some of the gigs, if you can't bring fans down, they'll charge you to play.
Yes.
Which is why again, Rich Mix is so good for us. But it is really trying to juggle our time and make the best of what we got. Really.
Something I was just looking upon. You've got your camera guy. I'm going to call him that. Hi, camera guy. You've got Arnhem. You've got Deccan. Within this studio, we're a very diverse and cultural mix right now. How important is it for you as a band to reflect that within your music? Because I want to obviously move on to your track as well. But do you think about things like cultural diversity, the diversity within your band, or is it all just about love of the music?
It is literally all about loving the music, and we don't mean culture to us. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. We just 5 guys come together, meet up, and just make music. And that's it. We all share a passion for that.
And separate to cultural backgrounds, we also come from very different musical backgrounds as well.
And that's what Cielo's about, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was originally a classical trained musician.
Wow.
Arnhem's got a hip hop background. Will here is the blues man with the with the most blues. As is rock superstar, loves anything from Sex Pistols to Chili Peppers.
Nice.
And Tom on bass.
Funky, Jamiroquai kind of style guy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
That is such an eclectic group of people.
So it brings some interesting ideas to the table when we write
this
some
is
stuff.
what Cielo is about. It's about mixing in and fusing so many different genres all together and just coming out with whatever happens.
What we're going to do is we're going to get you to perform a bit more live. I know you had 4 gigs this weekend. I think even today you had 4 gigs today.
We had one gig today, we had 3 last night.
Wow. And thank you so much for coming in. And we're going to put you again with one of the biggest audience, hopefully, that you've been presenting to. This is me and Shay. And the rest of London who is listening right now and obviously during the week. But tell us about your track that you just gave us a little sneak preview of. We just played earlier on. What's the name of that track and where they can find it? Where can people find you guys on the social media place?
Well, it's called Running in Circles. It should be out at the beginning of July. That's obviously just a preview. In fact, the lovely Resolution, who's the guy who's producing the track for us, sent us that preview at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Wow.
So it's hot off the press. We finished recording it about the beginning of this week. So that'll be coming out. You can find us omnipresent on the internet with Cielo Official. So Twitter at Cielo Official, Facebook /Cielo Official.
Yeah, that's CIELO. Because a lot of people get it confused. Cielo Official.
That's the one. And on our website, cieloofficial.net, you've got gig dates that we've got around London
Press
coming
packs, photos.
Yeah, you can
name
see
it.
our pretty faces. I say pretty faces. That's a lie.
Okay, so what's the track you're going to play for us live here in the studio?
This is the first song we ever wrote.
Wow. So it's all you
Right,
guys.
we're going to leave it over to you
Ever.
to firstly, please say your names loudly and proudly, and of course the name of the track.
My name is Cielo, and it's called My Type of Girl.
Drinks, Fosters with the lads and plays FIFA 10. My type of girl, but we're 2 good friends. I know I can't have her, but I'll fight to the end. And if she rejects me, I'll be back again. Come on. Da 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 da. She's my type of. She's got a cute little face. Stick on whatever in the morning fashion taste. She even has the chips with a lot of mayonnaise. Every time I see her, I get a smile on her face. But I guess we're only friends. I just don't wanna pretend. The story's just started and it's now gonna end. She makes me wanna sing. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. She's my type of girl. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. She's my type of girl. I love to play fight when we get drunk. My heart's a cherry pie and she's taking a chunk. We used to smoke cigs every time we bumped, but my heart's a tired town that can't assume to be sung. Yeah, I think about it all the time. Cause my heart was once ice, now it's starting to melt. And I hate the thought of seeing her with somebody else. I just don't stand a chance. She's gotta know I ain't telling her pants. She ain't the type of girl that does romance, but all I wanna do is hold her hands. Yo, guys in the studio, sing with me. She's my type of girl. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. She's my type of girl. She's my type of girl. I love you, Shay. She's my type of girl.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. You even got my husband singing along. That's always fun.
Voice of an angel.
I try.
You talk about me, of course, not Sunny.
You're not the voice of the BBC, love.
Yeah, okay.
Take it all.
Fine.
But that is amazing. Is that track out at the moment if anyone wants to download
it's on our first EP. Yeah, it's just an old track. I wrote that a long time
It's
ago.
nice to bring that out from time to time. We thought we'd show you the latest of what we've got, and then that song was the first thing
This
we
is
ever.
well thought out, Deccan, eh? They thought this out.
We're on point.
That is so
So
good.
lovely to have you all in. In terms of future plans and everything is on social media. It's at Cielo Official on Twitter, and Cielo is spelled CIELO Official.
Official.
And then are you guys going to be doing gigs in London in the coming weeks?
Absolutely. We're playing at Proud in Camden in 2 weeks' time, I believe it is.
No, it's July the 6th.
July the 6th.
That's when we're hoping to release our single, fingers crossed.
Fantastic.
So July the 6th is the next big gig that we've got coming up. But if you keep your eye on the website and the Facebook pages, you can find any sort of last-minute gigs that we might...
and they might have another big gig at the end of July as well, July 27th.
Yeah, July 27th.
Fantastic.
Thanks to the lovely Declan.
2-year anniversary of the Olympic Games in New
Oh,
York.
wow.
amazing.
Look out for that.
And also, can you just give us the details for Allsortz as well?
Yeah, Allsortz. Again, you can find us all over the internet, everywhere. It's on Twitter, it's Allsortz, then the number 1. Facebook, it's just Allsortz. Allsortz is spelled ALLSORTZ, the street way. Sonny,
Yeah.
Street way.
The street way. Just Allsortz Open Mic. You can just Google search that, YouTube, everything.
Thank you so much, guys.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for taking time out. Thank you, Declan. We've been
Thank you for
Sunny
having
and
us.
Shay. Oh, you're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you. Appreciate it.
We've been Sunny and Shay on BBC London 94.9. You can follow us on Twitter at Sunny and Shay and find us on Facebook, Sunny and Shay, and like the page. And we'll be back next week.
We certainly will be. We'll be giving you another full update of everything that happened during Cannes Film Festival. Big thank you to all of our guests tonight, including Hamza Badman, to the band that is Cielo, to Declan from Allsorts. And if you'd like to listen back, if you've missed out on the show, then it's allthews.bbc.co.uk/Sunny and Shay. That's bbc.co.uk/Sunny and Shay. We're going to hand over to the lovely Dot and Adebayo. Have a lovely Sunday evening. Right now, though, let's go to the news and travel on BBC London 94.9.